Welcome to Senior Happenings. My name is Tricia Ayers. I'll be your host today, and today we are talking about planning before crisis. Planning before crisis. And I have assembled friends and also some very knowledgeable folks who work with seniors in and out every day. So I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves, and then we're going to get straight to our hard questions. Cherie, would you introduce yourself?
Sure. Thanks so much for having me. I'm Cherie Spitzer with Purview Life.
And I'm Lisa Wolfe with Concordia Retirement Community here in Bella Vista.
And I'm Tyler Nagle with Homestead in Rogers and Fayetteville.
So now we have your grand titles, and I know that we were discussing yesterday, we see each other on a very regular basis in networking meetings for those of us who work with seniors, and we talked about education as to what we do in the community. So Cherie, yours is quite unique to our area. What does Purview Life do?
Sure. It is a new concept for Northwest Arkansas, something we haven't seen before, but something I think is really needed. We know we have a plethora of resources in Northwest Arkansas, but there's no really central point to work with someone to manage all of those resources or do anything above and beyond what those specific resources could provide. So Purview Life does quality life care management, which is essentially geriatric care management, also coined aging life care management. So it is kind of like a personal case manager for an individual, whether they need consulting, resources, just kind of maybe a family caregiver that's overloaded on navigating, caring for an aging adult or even a younger adult with special needs or disabilities. Our care managers can even serve as medical POAs, which a lot of folks aren't even educated on why that's important to have one, much less who they would name. And if they were to name a medical POA that they're friends with or their family with, you know, is that really the best choice? That person may get their emotional buttons pushed. So having a care manager who's objective and able to be in that role and advise in that role is something that we do. And we also can serve as legal guardians. So if someone doesn't have a support system in place, we can go all the way up to kind of that level of care and be their legal guardian reporting to the courts. Our assessments can be admissible in court. There's a lot that can be brought to the table when working one-on-one with a care manager. So we've been really excited to bring care management as a concept and a resource to Northwest Arkansas. We're based out of Tulsa and have been doing it there in that area for 16 years, but I'm a Northwest Arkansas native myself, so when I got the opportunity to have them expand that concept from Tulsa, it's been exciting, so that's what we do.
Lisa.
Yes.
Concordia has been in our community for
50 years.
50 years.
50 years,
And
yes.
going strong.
Yes, and we are an icon here in Bella Vista, I really do believe. And you know, we offer independent living and assisted living, and so if you're at home, you don't want to maintain your home anymore, you don't want to take care of the yard, you don't want to have the maintenance on your home, housekeeping, that is perfect for our independent living. We can offer those things to you, and then we can also offer our assisted living when it comes time for maybe a higher level of care where you need more eyes on you, and you know, safety is always the issue. Where is the best fit for you at that time in your life? So when it comes time to, well, it's more than just stress-free living now, and where we prepare meals for you. It's now for the assisted living side where we can take care of activities of daily living, 3 meals a day. Now we can help you when you get up in the morning. We can help you shower, get dressed, you know, even brush your teeth, just to get ready, and offer those 3 meals a day, transportation, housekeeping, everything that you need, and it's all in one great package on 26 acres here in Bella Vista.
Tyler.
Hi.
InHome Care.
Yeah, InHome Care. Well, number one, thanks for having us. And I have to say the community that we serve and just the people that we're surrounded with, all of you in this room, I mean, you guys are amazing. And I love how we work together. And whenever I tell people about Homestead, especially if they don't know who we are, I always ask them, how do they want to age in place? Where do you see yourself? in 20, 30 years. Before we started the show today, we were talking about baby boomers and about preparing for your care. And Home Instead's goal is to provide care at home. And we're based, our goal and our mission and what it's based around is just longevity for in the home and for care. So the way that we provide safe care in the home is companionship, transportation, meal prep, anything that keeps seniors safe in their home. That's our goal. So if someone wants to stay at home, wherever their home may be, assisted living, a skilled nursing facility, or in their private residence, that's what we do.
Right. So many, many resources here, and I'm going to jump around in my questions because you were saying about baby boomers and everything like that. But I know in our office, and I'm sure you experience this too, sometimes I feel that people get to us way too late in the game, way too late in the game. We ask people to plan where they're going to go to college. We ask people to plan where do you want to live? Do you want to have kids? Do you want to get married? There's all planning throughout our lives, and then we look at our senior years, and the majority of people do not plan. I mean, it's inevitable what's going to happen in the end. Nobody's getting out alive, you know? So why do we not plan? And what would be the best tip for the clients that all three of you see is what do you want to say to them as to you should have started here, or these are things to look for, and it makes their life journey and their families so much easier if they plan ahead. Cherie, you want to handle that first?
Sure, yeah, because I think especially with Purview Life, our high-level consultation is one of our favorite products that we have to offer to folks because it literally is just that. It's a consultation, one-on-one with a care manager to talk about now, tomorrow, and then next year. What I would say to the folks that aren't planning, that are calling us in crisis, I mean, we get it. I get it. It's not a conversation that is easy to have. It's not easy for the adult children to have it with their aging parents. It's not an easy reality for the aging parents to accept. And then sometimes too, I mean, you just might be overloaded getting by in the day-to-day. I can't think about tomorrow. But something as simple as a consult, especially with a care manager, can just really ease some of those fears. What we like to say at Purview Life is you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. And you could be anywhere in that frame in that season. And so it's just, we do encourage even just a consultation to start the conversation of what is this going to look like, so we're not having to make last minute decisions that could be costly on our well-being or our finances and our resources. And what our care managers do is, because we're expert in all of the resources we do have, we can advocate for some of these other resources as well, saying independent living is fabulous and the way to go. Assisted living is not scary. Home care is a benefit. Here's what that would look like. So we can kind of advocate for those other resources as well as even some of the financial and legal ones that are the really hard conversations.
Sure.
And I think just, again, the saying of knowledge is power, and clarity brings a lot of that comfort, because I think that's what we see is people just become overloaded and then no moves are being made.
Right,
Not necessarily the good ones, but not the bad ones either. And so just kind of want to help folks get unstuck. And if that comes from having a conversation with a trusted expert who's completely objective, because all we do is managing of the care of the person, then it's an easy conversation to have, and some good education on these other guys too.
Lisa, how do we get people to make that decision? We talk about that we wish people would get to Concordia sooner to enjoy all of this and not be struggling at home trying to manage everything. How do we?
Well, and I totally agree with Cherie and what she just said. Knowledge is power. And I think that we get busy with day-to-day life and we don't really understand, hey, you know, we need to be preparing, if not for ourselves, but for our parents. And a lot of times I see people come in and you don't want to wait until that crisis mode. You don't want to wait until, you know, my loved one has fallen and now, you know, we're not really sure, can they go back home? You want to come and tour with us and you want to see what we have to offer and talk with us. And, you know, let us show you what we can offer for them to keep them in a safe environment and to help in that healing process. Say they've fallen, they're now in rehab and now they can't safely go home. So now they can come to us at assisted living, they can still have therapy come in and you know, help them to heal and possibly even be able to move to our independent living. So the resources in Northwest Arkansas are just tremendous. We have a wonderful networking group of friends that we can refer to each other. We help each other out. It's like a big family here. And I love that Concordia can play a big part, a huge part in helping people to have a wonderful quality life. And so family too can have peace of mind.
Yes.
You know, they can now travel and they can go maybe out of town. I have a family right now that the daughter is in Ireland. She's sending me pictures and I'm showing those to her mom and, you know, taking pictures of her mom with me and sending them back to the daughter. So she can have peace of mind while she's on vacation.
Yes.
And, you know, daughter can see the connection that her daughter is safe and doing fine in Ireland. So, you know, we are very resident-minded. They are our family. We are working in their home. And so it's just a wonderful place to be. You know, assisted living didn't used to even exist. Back when my grandmother was, or when I was little, my grandmother was, you know, in a nursing home or family was taking care of them at home. And so now with economics as they are, you know, both of the couple are working, they cannot take care of their loved one at home anymore. So assisted living is a wonderful resource, it really is. And folks, you know, they can live there for a long time and do very well and thrive.
Yes.
The socialization is so important.
Yes.
I've seen that even with my own mom. You know, when she got placed into a beautiful health and rehab, she has just thrived and doing very well, and that makes me so happy and hopefully adding years to her life.
Right.
And so I think that if people plan and they take that look before something happens, because I can assure you a day can make a difference. And so if you have that plan in place and have all of your ducks in a row, I think that's very important.
Yes. Tyler,
Yeah.
how do we get people interested in, I need some help?
Of course.
That's a hard one, inviting people into your home, too. That's a hard obstacle, I think.
Absolutely. Just asking for help sometimes, I think, is really difficult. And the biggest piece of advice that I could give anybody with anything is a conversation is always free. Ask for help, reach out, and just see what's out there. And that way you can surround yourself with people who have an idea of what you're getting into, and they can help. And we genuinely want to help our seniors and their families.
Yes.
It's the 40 to 70 principle. I preach that all the time. So typically, whenever you're 40 years old, you have a parent who's in their 70s or maybe their 80s, and they're looking for care or needing care. So have that conversation not only for your parents and see what's out there for care or for assisted living or for Purview Life, but also have it for yourself so you can start planning.
Right.
So not only are you proactive for yourself, but you're also being proactive, most importantly, for your parents in the moment.
Yes.
So 40 to 70 principle, conversations are always free. Typically, you can call me up or you can call any of the folks in this room up, and we'll always have a conversation and we'll make time for you just to see what's out there. And if we're not the right fit, then let's get you somebody who is.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
Yeah, that would be my biggest piece.
One thing that I experience and have experienced in my own family is that family dynamic. I'm an only child. My father is deceased. My mom did not know about the finances. And we don't question. Do you know what I mean? I think that's getting better, but we were not supposed to ask, what do you want to do as you age? We're just going to take care of it. And then that happens and nobody
lost.
knows anything. How do we, I mean, I don't expect you to come up with the answers, but how do we bridge that gap? Do you think it's getting better, the communication between parent and child? Because we'll always be the child. We'll always be the child.
Yeah.
You know, and I know, Lisa, you recently lost your father. Our condolences for that. But you'll always be the child. And I'm sure dealing with that, it's hard. Do you have any words of wisdom for folks out there?
Well, I think, just like you're talking about communication, I think the key really is to sit down and have that difficult conversation with your loved one. Even though you don't feel comfortable doing that, and you feel like, you again, like your parents always see you as, a
Right.
child, but the real fact of the matter is that you're going to be in charge someday, having those POAs in place, having everything ready to make sure that you can take care of every situation that might come about. But I think having the conversation, writing it down, doing the things that need to be done at the right time to make sure that you're ready for when that happens.
Cherie, I think sometimes being the third party, not being the family member, is maybe a good thing also, being...
That's what I was just going to
Yes.
say. Yeah, we are, our care managers, they really excel at being the hired bad guy, if I could just bluntly put it out like
Yeah.
that. We like to label it as expert and objectivity, but we do. We not only, are our services so broad in our concept, but one of the very, very main things we do is managing emotions and expectations. And in those conversations, it could be the expectations of the aging adult and having to have those conversations of this is the change in reality. Maybe we're not driving anymore. Maybe we can't meet all of our ADLs. Maybe it is time to go to assisted living. That's a hard conversation to have, and I would not want to have it as a child myself. I would not imagine anyone else thinking, okay, I can handle this and say all the right things. And so it is okay to delegate to a professional that can come across in that way of, okay, here's the changes in our reality, but here's the solutions. The opposite can also be said. So I want to talk to our audience as the aging adult.
Yes.
And your 40 or 50-year-old adult child, sometimes their emotions and expectations need to be managed as well. I know you want mom to be active, but she is 80 and Planet Fitness is probably not the best fit. But she can go to these different walking programs. Here's some other activities around the community. We can do home care for some interacting. We can look at communities where they have planned activities. Like sometimes it's that adult child that we're also having to have the conversation with going, this is the reality of your parent. This is where we're at.
Right.
Your emotions and expectations are way too high. And let's talk about the change in reality, especially when something is seriously going on with the parent, like a diagnosis of Alzheimer's or dementia. Again, it may be talking to that family caregiver on this is the reality that we're dealing with, but we don't need to go over the emotional waterfall too much. It can be managed.
Right. And I think, Tyler, from an in-home care standpoint, that person can sometimes be the only connection that
Right.
that senior
Right.
has, that only socialization.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think it's huge. And kind of adding on to what Cherie and Lisa said, you have to look at it from every side and every angle. So what if the senior doesn't know how to reach out to the kid? They don't really know how to have that conversation. And whenever the kid or the loved one, whoever, decides to have enough courage to reach out to their loved one and they finally have that conversation, it could actually be a huge relief. And they've just been waiting for it, and they don't know how to have it.
Yes.
So definitely speaking to the audience, just the encouragement and the bravery to have it. And confrontation always doesn't have to be bad. It actually can turn into a really beautiful thing. It's hard, it's difficult, but thanks to resources like us and other different resources in the community, you can prepare yourself to have that conversation.
And I think we as a community want people to reach out.
Right.
As you were all saying, we are so accessible to people. I mean, we're the ones, when we're in line at the post office, if we've got our tag on, it's like, ask me a question. Ask me a
Yes.
question. Let me point you in the right direction.
Would love to help.
We really do. We spoke about this yesterday, that we do such a great job within ourselves finding out what we all do and kind of honing our, okay, this company does this, but getting that information out to the seniors sometimes, I feel like we're slightly lacking. We do expect them all to come to us.
Right.
And we have educational events. It's just always thinking of how we can get more information, because we know once that person has touched our lives and we can give them that information, you can see the light bulb go off as to, okay, I have choices. I can make decisions. I can be, we want the senior to be in control of what they want to happen.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Unless
right.
it's gone too far and an advocate needs to step in for
Yes.
them, but we want everybody to be in control of how they age, whether it be in a community, in a home, on a desert island somewhere. That's what we want, but we want them to be prepared. So, that's what we need to do. We need to get out there more. I don't know how we do that. We do as well as we can do. So
Absolutely.
in the Northwest Arkansas area, we have lots of great resources. What are we lacking? What's something that we're lacking? Tyler, put you on the spot.
Oh my goodness, wow. I think really something that we're lacking, I know the Broyles Foundation does a really great job at this, but
Yes.
something that I personally would love to see and is a pain point is our support groups. Something where we can rally together, even as caregivers, to lean on one another. And I believe that the pandemic robbed that and a lot of those groups away from us.
Yes.
So support groups and just a leaning
Right.
post and a soundboard.
Which are free. Support groups are free.
Correct.
There are so many free resources, but that would be really good. Lisa, what would you like to see?
Well, I think I would like to see just more awareness of what is available and being creative in finding out how to get that information, like you're talking about, to the senior community and to the family, to the children. Mine is more of the 60-80 group. People are living longer, they're waiting longer before they move into a community. I think if there's a way to reach out to the families and find out, and I'm constantly, looking at different avenues and areas that I can do that as a resource, and if it's not a good fit, with what maybe for us yet,
Yes.
Maybe I can, recommend in-home care until they're ready to come, or they need to definitely have a lifeline button. If they're at home and they're not, they say we're not ready yet.
Yes.
Okay, well, then I'll look, usually at the child and I'll say, you need to make sure that they have a pendant. They have a way to reach out to somebody if they fall. My mom, she fell and she was laying in the bathroom for about 3 hours before my dad discovered she was there. He snores. He was sleeping upstairs. He didn't realize this had happened, and he was just absolutely frantic at 6 a.m. when he realized she was laying on the floor.
Yes.
And at that time, she broke her hip, wrist, and shoulder. And so, I'm always recommending the button to be able to push for help. But I think, just the awareness of what is available. Again, I think everybody my age, with parents, here I am sitting talking to the person on the other side of the desk is now
Yes.
me. And life is busy. You have grandchildren. You're busy. You're not really thinking about what's, coming up. But I think that awareness of, hey, we really need to stop life for a minute, and we need to really recognize we need to get this information, to them about what do we need to do to prepare.
I like that. Stop life for a minute. Plan. Cherie.
Yeah. I would echo exactly what they've said, because I think the awareness is not only crucial because then the pre-planning comes a lot sooner, but then it breaks the stigma as well of what these that that come with our industries and our resources of like, oh, I don't want to leave out of my home. I don't want somebody to come into my home. I don't, just all the stigma that is tied to aging and getting old. I think if there was more awareness and education, it would be a more comfortable conversation.
Right.
And then too, that's just like a drop in the pond, that if we start making rings of knowledge and preparation for individuals and families, then that just echoes and then to our local cities and our local governments and our state government, so that we can get more resources there as well. I know we were talking right before the show, and we don't have time to get into that tangent, but I think a lot of work could be done with our Medicaid programs. I think Medicaid facilities are lacking horribly, and not only in Northwest Arkansas, but across our state. And yeah, I think if individuals make aging a priority topic to talk about individually and within the family, we'll see that echoed in our government officials as well, and maybe we can get our focus over on that most important generation.
Yes, absolutely.
And making sure they're set up for success. I mean, you and I can talk, we all
I
four
agree.
can talk all day long, but if the resources aren't there because there's no government funding, no one's aware of that, then we as professionals are even running into some dead ends, unfortunately.
Right. Well, I want to thank you for coming today. I really have enjoyed our panel conversation. Always enjoy getting down to the nitty-gritty. I challenge our audience out there to go and make some appointments. Make some appointments. Go to Concordia, have lunch with Lisa. Call Cherie,
Absolutely.
have an appointment, see what life care management looks like. Call Tyler. Call somebody else. You're going, Tyler, aren't you? You're
Yes.
going on
I'm
to different things.
moving to Little Rock, but
Okay.
Home Instead will still be there.
Yes, call, make an appointment, just have a conversation, see what is out there for when you need it. Plan before crisis. Thank you for joining us, and I'll see you next month. Okay, bye-bye.